Welcome to the Think Fitness Life podcast, where we bring the mind, body, and gym together so you can improve your health, increase performance, and live your best life. For more information, visit thinkfitnesslife.com. Here are your hosts, Matt Gluckman and Eric Menchie.
Back to the Think Fitness Life podcast. My name is Matt Gluckman. I'm with my co-host Eric Menchie, and today we have a special guest with us. He has been in the industry for 11 years. He's owned 2 CrossFit gyms, an outdoor boot camp, a functional training facility. He's worked as a general manager, strength and conditioning coach, and also, now that I learned, he's also worked as a firefighter. He's also worked as an advisor and writer for Men's Health magazine. Currently, he's the creator of EntreFit, a fitness business coaching program for all you entrepreneurs out there trying to expand your business. Welcome on, Sean Garner.
Thank you so much. That sounds extremely arrogant of myself.
That's what happens when you get a lot of things done in your career.
I was going to say, I would say, somebody asked, like, what's my favorite thing about what I've done in fitness so far? It's always the thing that I'm currently doing, but I wouldn't be able to do what I'm currently doing if I hadn't had all those past experiences. And I'm extremely blessed and fortunate to have had all those opportunities. Because when I started in fitness, man, I was in Owasso, Oklahoma. That is like a suburb of a small town in Oklahoma. So it's not like I was from like New York, Chicago, LA, Miami, or anything like that. I ended up moving to Miami, but that's not where I started. So to come from a small town and to have done all those really cool things, man, I am so blessed, and I don't deserve it, but I try to make the most of it all.
Hey, we feel a similar way. Like, in our training backgrounds, there were a lot of times where we disliked maybe what we were doing at that very moment, but then look back and we felt so blessed for it. And even to this day, like we started a podcast just for fun, and we feel so blessed to have someone like yourself reach out and get in touch with us. And we're just excited to interview you and learn a little bit from you. And so you were saying, are you in Miami right now?
So no, we actually whenever COVID changed everything, right?
Yeah.
So I'm married, I've got 3 kids, and our youngest is just a little bit over 1. And so whenever he turned 1, we were living in downtown Miami. Family of 5 in a high-rise condo is not an ideal living situation.
Yeah.
Especially when the whole city gets shut down and everything goes to lockdown, like amenities of the building were closed. So that condo got really, really small really quick. So
like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah. We ended up moving back to Oklahoma, where we're originally from, about 6 months ago, and love it.
Yeah.
It's closer to family, so much more space for the kids, and it's been awesome.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah, I'm out here in Utah. I had to make the move from Boston about 3 years ago, just get a little bit more breathing room myself.
Yeah. Going from high-rise life to the burbs, if you will, like we live in like a not cookie cutter, but like a little golf cart country club neighborhood community and everything. Going from that to our condo was a big change, but it's a positive change. Like, we have a huge yard for the kids to play in, man. Like, it's literally like cheesy, like you would think Midwest American people sitting out on the front porch waving at each other. Like, it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. Well, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm curious, where did all this begin? Where did your interest for fitness first begin?
Yeah, so great question. And like the fire helmet on the wall. So I was not an athlete growing up. Like, in high school, I was the skinny, dorky video game skateboarder kid. And
so was I, yeah.
That's awesome. So never was into fitness at all until I wanted to become a firefighter. I was actually working as a restaurant manager at the time, had a friend said he had the best job in the world, should go try and be a firefighter. Long story short, went to EMT school and applied, got on at a fire department. And during that process, that was my first kind of exposure to, man, I got to get in shape, because it wasn't just about like an aesthetic thing. It was a job performance thing, because I remember gives me chills, as cheesy as it sounds to say it, but like whenever you graduate rookie school for the fire academy, you have this big family dinner with your crew that you're going to eat, you're going to work with, and their family. And I remember one of the wives looking at me and saying, "Are you really willing and able to risk your life to pull my husband out if something went down?" And I was like, shit, like this is real.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not just a cool job. Like people's lives really are on the line. And that's whenever I would say I started taking fitness, started actually training and stuff to get on at the fire department. But then once that happened and I heard that, I was like, I got to take this seriously. So I really started diving in and got into CrossFit really heavily. And that kind of was my first true, like anytime I followed any type of like strength and conditioning program at all. Before that, it was like you do some push-ups and some squats and you'd go run a mile like once a month or something like that. It was my first exposure to like using barbells and all that fun stuff. And through that, since I kind of transformed my own body, I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. Maybe I should do this. And so as a firefighter, you work, at least where I was at, you work 24 hours on, you have 48 hours off. And so with my off time, we didn't have any kids at the time, had a lot of extra money. And so my wife was like, hey, why don't you start a gym? So I ended up opening the CrossFit gym and it honestly just exploded. It was like right place, right time. I thought it was because I was like this super genius entrepreneur, but no, I was just dumb and lucky. And it just exploded very quickly. And after we'd had the facility for about 1 year, I was actually able to leave the fire department because the gym was doing way better than anything we ever thought. So ended up leaving that. And literally the last day of the fire department found out my wife was pregnant. And so then I was like, whoo, we got to get serious. So I got a baby girl on the way. And so ended up diving all in with that gym. And just by being able to focus on it full time, 6 months after that, I was able to buy out a competitor CrossFit gym, like a half a mile away. So then we had 2 facilities, merged them into one. And that just kind of like snowballed to my, growth within fitness.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, like talk about necessity being the mother of invention with, having to hop into the fire department and be like, whoa, we gotta go. This is game time. I gotta be ready and prepared for anything at all costs. And then, bootstrapping the CrossFit gym at the same time. That's pretty admirable of you, and have that time and that energy. I can tell you're someone that definitely, you get a lot done with your days, man. What's your secret? Are you a caffeine guy? You just do power naps through the day? You just...
So I would definitely say one of my strong suits is I am extremely disciplined, and I'm kind of boring. If you want to say, I would be the world's easiest person to assassinate because every single day looks the same for
like
me.
A deer, right? Yeah.
If you want to know what I'm doing, like
just track you
7 days a week. Like the only day that's a little different is Sundays. Sundays is my only rule, is I don't work at all and I don't set an alarm, but I still end up waking up pretty early. But that's church day and family day for me. But other than that, Monday through Saturday, 4:30 a.m. wake up. I come right in here to my office, drink a cup of coffee, do my devotional, read my Bible. Prayer time is like my personal time for the first like 30 minutes a day. Then from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. is reading time. So I've always got like a different business or personal development book that I'm reading. And when I'm reading, one thing I always tell people is I read every single day for an hour, but I don't read a lot of books. And it's not because I'm really dumb and a slow reader. But what I do is I'll actually read the book, and I might read a chapter, and then I will go and I will write about that chapter. So I'll type out everything that I've learned from it, because I'm a big believer in, I just don't want to check the box and say I read the book. Right. I want to apply the book. My favorite quote is, knowledge without application is meaningless. So if I'm reading all of these books, but I'm not applying it, I'm not serving myself. I'm just checking a box. I don't want to do that. So I'll read for an hour each day, but it's typically spent about 30 minutes reading and then another 30 minutes like typing out
applying it. Right. Yes. Right. And they say that's the last level of true understanding, is being able to translate that knowledge,
teach it to others. Yes, exactly. And that's what I do now with my business coaching consulting for Fit Pros. So do that. Then from 6 to 7 is personal workout time. My workouts, I work out 7 days a week, but I don't even call it workout time. I call it move time. I'll only like lift weights like 4 days a week. And then the other 3 days a week might be go for an hour walk around the neighborhood, or maybe do like a little yoga flow, or just grab the foam roller and just lay out in the garage and roll out for an hour. Just because for me, as boring as I am, that consistency is what makes me successful. I'm more consistent working out or moving an hour every day than I ever would be if I just said, hey, I'm just going to work out 3 days a week. Like I joke with my wife, I'm like a microchip. And if there's like a little speck of dust, the whole thing like falls apart. And so I've got to just how I'm wired, I have to have that same routine or I fall off. So do that. Then from 7 to 8 is come in, help the kids get ready for school and get them off, fed and all that good stuff. And then from 8 till 4 is very, very focused work. I have my work day blocked out in 15-minute increments. So I can tell you exactly what I'm going to do every 15 minutes. And unless we got an hour blocked off like this, like I do for this, then 4, I go and pick up the kids. Then I'm back at my desk by about 4:30. Then from 4:30 to 6 is work, finalize that. And then 6 is a hard stop, and phone goes on do not disturb. It gets plugged in, and nobody, the most important people to me are my family. They're in the house with me, so nobody needs to talk to me anyway. And so phone goes on do not disturb, and I don't even look at us. My rule is I don't look at a screen, TV or anything after 7 p.m. So I might watch TV for about an hour, then no screens. And I'm typically, kids are in bed by 8. I sip some tea. I'm in bed by like 8:30. I read for another 30 minutes. And by 9 o'clock, I'm out. Pretty boring routine. But
yeah, but I love it.
I'm very disciplined and organized. And then there's also a crap ton of coffee.
Yeah, there's so much in that is valuable that I want to just highlight for our listeners, like the disciplined, the organizational piece, the planning. I think a lot of times people have a goal and they don't really have a plan to attack that goal. You know, your temperance, your ability to kind of balance things out and have like, you know, you're not like so against screens 100%, but you're like, I'm only going to allow myself a little bit. And then I love that piece of the practical application. So many people get stuck at the theoretical level and they never actually apply it, whether it's reading something or trying a new exercise. There's a lot of beauty to just the routine that you have for yourself. And I love that we're talking to someone who practices what he preaches. Seriously, I think that's another misstep for some of the people in this industry, especially some of the more looked at leaders in this field. They lose that aspect of taking care of their own bodies. And then I myself just can't really listen to a lot of things they're talking about, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's really hard to find people in this industry that have a good happy medium, because I see two extremes. I see one, the poor trainer who's not making any money, but by God, he gets his 3-hour workout in a day and then wonders why he's not making any money. He might look incredible, but his bank account sucks. Right. And then you got the flip side to where, you know, one of the struggles I see so many fitness professionals fall into is this is the service industry. So everybody that comes in here is so servant based, where they just want to give and serve others, to where ultimately they end up giving and serving so much, they let their own personal relationships suffer. They let their own personal health suffer. And it's not because it's not important, but they almost care more about other people's health than they do their own. That's why, I mean, look at the burnout rate of trainers. Like, they're waking up stupid early, it's like that split shift job. We know that. And they're exhausted all the time. They're working for pennies just because they do want to help and serve and impact and reach more people. And they do all that at the expense of themselves. But at the same time, like, there is that happy medium, right? Because you are a product of the product. So it is, there's several different facets with it. Like, you have to be able to show, how can you teach somebody about a healthy lifestyle if you're not living it yourself?
Absolutely.
And ultimately, it doesn't mean you have to walk around with like shredded out 6-packs or anything like that, but like, you do need to be healthy. You know, you can't let yourself get overweight. I hear the argument all the time about like, you know, a coach doesn't need to be able to, you know, throw a touchdown pass to coach. I 100% understand and believe that. But you do need to be a product of the product. If you're able to, if you're trying to teach and train sustainable health, you need to be able to make sure that it actually is sustainable for someone like yourself.
Yeah. And I think there's also a lot of value in, you know, just highlighting that your routine there, just for people who are listening from start to finish, not everything was written in about what you want to do or what you feel like doing that day. It's like, this is what's best for me. This is what's best for my family. This is what's best for my career. And I think a lot of people, again, miss that discipline factor. And I love the quote that discipline is doing what you have to do, even though you don't want to do it. But, you know, moving on, I'm curious at what you would say is your most sort of impactful experience as a leader, as a coach, that helped shape the way that you help other coaches.
Yeah, that's a great question. I honestly, the thing that has helped me help the most people is all of my failures.
Great answer.
I will say this, and this might sound cheesy, but like, it's not, I don't think that anything's a real failure as long as you learn something from it. I've had some gyms and business ventures that failed financially. You can look at the bank account. I lost a whole lot of money on that one. That was not a good deal. But I learned so much from that. So then the next opportunity that I pursued, I was able to 10x just because I was so much further ahead had I not have had that bad experience, because it was a learning lesson. So for me, what's helped me is I've had, a gym that I thought, my first gym, like I told you, it just blew up and was super successful. I thought it was because I was like the gym whisperer. Like I knew what I was doing. It was honestly just dumb luck. It was a perfect location. I did all the right things, but they were done so accidentally. I didn't know it wasn't replicatable. But then I took that and I tried to open up a third facility, the bigger city, more overhead, bigger staff and everything. Ended up failing miserably financially. And it took me forever. Like honestly, about 3 years, I was like, I just told myself the same lie that everybody else does. I did everything I could. Like I tried my best. I worked really hard. There's nothing I could have done. And it honestly took 3 years before I was like, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. And I was able to look back and tell myself everything that I did, because I'd finally gotten to a place of maturity in multiple areas of my life to actually be able to step back and thoroughly self-assess and self-examine what I had done, and honestly just come to terms with all the mistakes that I had made. But for me, man, that's where I learned the best, because sometimes you don't always learn from your successes and when things work out. Because like I said, from my first gym I opened, I thought I knew what I was doing just because it did work out. But the reason why it worked out is because it never faced any type of challenge or adversity. Like everything literally went picture perfect. So how do you know what actually works if it's never actually been challenged?
Tested. Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's really hard for a lot of people. I think especially when you're going through it, it's hard to separate yourself from it. And like you said, it almost takes some time or just like that bird's eye view to really separate the shame, because it's not about shame of the failure, but just about how to look at it in a rational viewpoint, so that, like you said, you can kind of learn from it. So what were some of the biggest lessons from that third facility that failed?
Oh. Overhead is a very important thing you should manage and know. Cash flow is very important.
Yeah.
You should know your numbers.
Yeah.
Bigger is not always better. Yeah, I would say those are the big keys.
And that's a language that most trainers and fitness entrepreneurs don't speak.
Okay, can I rant on something for a second?
Yeah.
This frustrates me so much. Especially like now with so many trainers being independent trainers, so many of them having some type of online presence, they're actually becoming entrepreneurs for the first time and not employees. Gym owners that opened up a gym just because they were really good in fitness, or they had a few personal training clients and they said, pull them off the side, hey, you should do this. You're just as good as the owner. You should open up your own gym. They go and open up their own gym. You've got to know your numbers. It drives me insane. Trainers can quote to me their mile time, their deadlift PR, their bench PR, their squat PR. They have no idea what like client acquisition costs are. What are their fixed costs each month? What does it cost? How many clients do you need just to keep the doors open and the lights on? Like they have no idea what costs are. They have no idea how much profit they actually earn per customer. They have no idea what other KPIs they have. How many leads are you getting in your business each month? How are you following up? They have no idea those business numbers. By God, man, I can tell you what my 500 meter row time is. Like, nobody cares.
Right.
A lot of trainers run into that problem. That I've known, if that experience just doesn't exist unless you've taken a course on it.
Even on a smaller level, before they get to the point of having their own brick and mortar location, just the fact that they think they can train another client because they work their own success story, and they think they know how to apply everything that they did in their system and their fitness journey and just replicate it to other people. And then when they see their first failures, they're so shocked. Why didn't that single arm press fix them?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, absolutely. That's where there's not a one size fit. Hopefully the trainers and people listening to the show know this. There is not a one size fits all approach to health and fitness. There's not a one size fits all approach to business. So that's what I see this with like the Instagram influencery trainers, and then also with people that do what I do, like these online marketing, like I would say con people, where they learned a marketing tactic and they teach that tactic to others. That's not actually true business development. Just like with the Instagram influencers, they were able to get themselves fit. So they think, I'm incredible. I can get everybody fit, or I work great for me, and they have no idea about modifications, regressions, progressions, like other like movement pattern issues that might like most of the general population is going to have. They don't even think about those things, and when it doesn't work, it's you must be doing something wrong. It worked for me, so it's got to work for everybody.
Right. Victim blaming again.
Yes. It does
A
not
lot
work
of
that way.
people jumping into that pool right now. The online, the Instagram fitness, and then all of a sudden it's like they have no idea once you get into it what it's actually all about.
Yeah, that's one of the things so with who I work with my consulting company, I honestly turn away more people than I actually work with, because one of my requirements is I've got two requirements. One, whenever I ask the question, here's the listen, pop quiz, or I guess secret to anybody that ever reaches out after listening to this. If you reach out and the number one thing you tell me you want to do is you want to grow your Instagram following, you want your Instagram account verified, and that's your primary goal. Sorry, bro, I'm not your guy.
Oh, I love you. I love
Somebody else can do that. Yeah. So I'm not all about doing it. I'm helping the real fitness professional that you're awesome at your craft and you've already gotten results and you just want to expand and grow and scale digitally. So that's the other thing. The second thing is, if you haven't at least trained somebody for at least 2 years in person, I'm not going to work with you, because there is so many things that need to be discovered, those reps that you have in person. If you haven't had to modify or regress or progress a movement with somebody in person, when you have the opportunity to be tactile with them, move them in positions and stuff like that, you are going to fail. You might make some money online, but you're not truly going to be able to help people. And I believe that I'm, again, sounding cocky, maybe, I'm awesome at what I do. So I don't want to take somebody and show them the marketing tactics and strategies to be successful online and then go out and hurt somebody and negatively impact what I want to reach, which is like true fitness professionals.
Yeah. Well, I like when you said that, or even earlier, you said they got the 2 years and then you said 3 years to really kind of learn. And when you're coming in, I really found for me, true, is like the same thing. That 2-3 years is being in this industry. You learn a lot and you learn who you are. You look back and I'm like, geez, I did that my first year. Yikes. So I really do like that metric you have, where it's like, okay, if you understand, you got to be in this field and you got to want to be in this field, not just like, hey, let me do this quick and see if I can make it.
Yeah, you're going to see such a wide variety. I mean, it depends where you're working, but hopefully within those 3 years, you're getting a wide variety of a spectrum of clients. Whenever I first started out with fitness, it was CrossFit. And then the next thing we opened was a women's only boot camp. Then we started doing high school sports performance. Then we started getting into collegiate and pro athletics. Then I got in with a pro hockey organization, and then I got into like more online, more personal training and with like more affluent people in Miami. So like I had such a wide variety. I would have no idea had I just thrown into like pro sports, or if I would have just been thrown into, online one-on-one personal training. Like, you don't know what you don't know. That's the biggest thing, is whenever you see a brand new trainer or somebody that's new to the field, they've taken that one cert and they think that that's the Bible. Like, no, like I'll tell you, like I've taken dozens of certifications, and you learn each one, you get a new tool from. The problem is whenever you're new to the field, it's like the quote, whenever all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So whenever you have like this one skill set or this one viewpoint of how fitness is done, it's going to be really, really hard for you to adapt and pivot whenever something comes that's not in your pretty little textbook. So always making sure you're keeping it with your continued education and learning new skills so you can add more tools to the toolbox, because that's what's going to round you out as a trainer. And if you actually truly want to serve and impact people, you got to expand the toolbox.
And it's kind of back to your point about like a lot of trainers are going to learn from their failures along their journey, not just all their clients that in the first year that started to get results with them, but those clients that didn't sign up for their package, or the clients that didn't get results. Because ultimately that's the problem clients that are the problem scenarios where you need to dive into further. And I love the quote by Albert Einstein, like, it's not about being a genius, it's just about staying with the problem longer. And I think a lot of the most successful trainers are willing to dive into a new goal or a new set of parameters depending on what's going on with the client.
Yeah, when you don't quit, you win. The one thing I would say with that, though, is always being upfront with the client. Like, I've had tons of clients that have come to me and said, hey, this is my goal. Somebody came to me, and whenever I first started working in Miami, and she wanted to do bikini competitions. I had never trained anybody that had done that. And I straight up told her, I said, I'll be honest with you, I've never trained somebody that does this, but I know exactly what we're going to do. Here's the plan we're going to follow. If at any time this doesn't work, you fire me. and just being open and honest with them about it.
Yeah.
And
Managing expectations from day one.
Yeah, you're going to have a first time for every, you're going to have the opportunity to train a pro athlete. Don't lie and be like, I've trained pro athletes my whole career. Like, no, be honest. Like, super excited for the opportunity to work with somebody that's, as valuable as you are. My goal is to make sure ultimately we do no harm and we make you better at what you do. This is the plan we're going to follow, and you show them what you're going to do. I'm a fan of this quote, but not always when it applies to fitness. Don't fake it till you make it, especially whenever you have people's, health and lives in your hands.
Yeah, and their livelihood. So I'm curious, besides the obvious one, because of recent COVID transitioning things to more online, I myself have been in the industry for 7 years. I think Eric's been in for 8 or 9 years. What are some of the major shifts that you've seen in the industry since when you first began, the fitness industry specifically?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, online and digital is the biggest thing. Like, there's big waves with everything. I would say right whenever I first started in fitness is whenever like CrossFit was about to hit its peak. And so I was kind of fortunate to ride that wave. And then I think it kind of went down for a little bit. And then it's kind of coming up a little bit more, especially with the new CEO that's taken over and everything. I think he's an awesome guy that's doing some cool stuff. But some of the trends that I've seen take over is more of the boutique fitness, right? It's not so much about like the big box gym anymore. People want a boutique experience, whether that be like a Barry's Boot Camp, an Orange Theory. They want to be around other people, but they want it to be personalized and as customized in the experience. It's definitely
like that middle road.
Yeah, it's definitely right now. I would say like one of the big trends that I'm seeing is the garage gym is cool for some people, but now it's almost like going to like a rock concert at some of these facilities. Like, people want the experience. They want the live DJ. They want the light show and almost like smoke machines in some of these gyms. It's crazy, but like they want this experience now, because especially with COVID and so many online options, I tell this to my clients all the time, if you're just selling fitness and nutrition programs, like, you're going to lose, right? Because people can probably find something better than you're writing online for free. So you have to create an experience for people to come and a community to surround themselves around. Then another big thing that's come up, so I'm wearing one now, a wearable device. The Whoop, having wearable devices, trackable. I mean, that's one of the things, like Orange Theory, with having, any type of wearable device to where you're tracking metrics whenever you're training as well, because it's not just about how tired did the workout make, but now you actually have real data points that you can use. And especially as a trainer, as a fitness professional, you can use those data points to help hold your clients accountable. I know myself, whenever I was training clients in person, I would always recommend that they get something like a Whoop or a Fitbit, so we had some other metric to track, because they're with you an hour at most, 3 to 5 days a week. And we have other metrics to track whenever they're not with you. But
it's such an amazing tool to get a good insight into how someone's recovering or whether they're not recovering. I agree. It's a really nice added piece as a coach to really look over your clients. And it sounds like you've been in a few David Barton gyms with the DJ and the smoke machine, right?
That was. I don't think they ended up closing the one down in Miami.
Okay.
And I think
we're about to open one in Boston.
A lot of them started closing, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if they went all out of business. They still might have like the main one left, like either in New York or London. I can't remember.
Okay.
But I think the majority of
that was like their main selling point. It was like it was like a place to meet people and hang out, and they had a DJ, and their motto was "Look better naked."
Look better naked. I love the motto.
That's great.
Single light hanging over a squat rack or something.
Yeah, it was pretty dark. It was hilarious. So I think that's really important to distinguish between what you do and what other kind of fitness coaches do. It's kind of like the term life coach, right? Like, I hate that term. I think it gets a lot of it gets misconstrued and a lot of misinterpretation. So, what are some of the common misinterpretations towards what you do with coaches and other trainers?
So as far as like what I'm doing now with EntreFit and the consulting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like you were saying about the Instagram following, that's a misinterpretation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I do now is I work with real fitness professionals, and what I qualify as a real fitness professional, somebody that's been in the industry for at least 3 years, training people in person, and fitness is their full-time job, right? This is a transitional career for so many people, or a part-time people do it for a couple of years. It's almost
hobby.
It's like waiting tables. Like, oh yeah, I was a personal trainer when I was in college, like finishing it. Like, no, it's like, I want the people that this is their career. and they're really awesome at what they do. They've gotten proven results, and they're looking to create, market, or scale an online digital platform. I very much believe that the future of fitness, it's here now, is the digital online component. And the next big wave of fitness is the individual creator and brand. With technology, you can create an incredible online experience, very similar to like a Peloton-esque thing, or a custom program, online personal training experience, because technology is so available to everybody. But it's your ability to create a personal brand around that and a true community and experience is what really will make you stand out and be successful. So what I do is I help them to build their business. I teach them business foundation skills. We talked about time management earlier. I'm super big on that. Business organizational skills, business development, because a lot of these people that are doing online training, people are cash apping them, funds for PDF ebooks and stuff. Like, that's not an online business. Like, you need to have a legit LLC or S Corp set up. Like, we show you how to do it right. And then we help you to build an online community. You build your online community through the content that you create online. And it's not about trying to attract everybody. It's about appealing to a very specific niche group. Like we talked about, the boutique fitness. You can't be all things to all people, especially online. You need to have these skills to work with a wide variety of people. And this is the biggest thing I see fitness professionals struggle with, because they do have that servant heart, like we talked about earlier, and they want to help everybody. But if you try to market to everybody, you will not be successful. So we help them do that. We help them to find a target audience who they want to work with and teach them how to create content that attracts that person. Then the third thing that we do is we teach them how to build an offer. So it's not just about, hey, buy my workout program. No, nobody wants to buy a workout program, right? They want the results or benefits that come with going through a workout program. So you got to construct an offer based upon your target market, based upon the type of online training you want to do, whether you want to, sell a subscription service, you want to do follow along with content, online personal training content, you want follow along with content like live on demand, like whatever you want to do. We show you how to set that platform up and create and price the offer so that it makes sense and it actually makes you money. And it's not just trading time for money. Then the fourth thing that we do after that is we show you how to set the systems up that support all that stuff. So what systems you need to do for ongoing marketing, what systems you need for lead generation, for client fulfillment. It's not just about selling them. Then what? How do you take care of the client? How do you do the reoccurring subscription and building that up? And then the very last thing that we work with them on is the step 5. Very few people actually want to take their business this big, but I like thinking and working big. I call it legacy. So this is like, how do you think about hiring other trainers to work for you online because you've created this online brand? How do you think about selling your business? What are you thinking about for retirement and for health benefits? Because it's not just a little online training is not advanced social media, right? It's actually building a true business. So creating everything that's around that so it actually can truly scale into something bigger than just your online PDFs. And so we walk everybody through all that stuff, and we're doing some cool stuff.
So are you getting a lot of people who are kind of in this industry, did the search, did the schooling, but maybe aren't really experiencing the business side of it, right? And just taking them and like crash coursing them?
Yeah. So there's 2 different options that we have. We've got a coaching program to where we show them what to do. We've got course materials. It's live calls 2 times a week with myself, and actually showing them, walking them through, helping them brainstorm all this stuff and any kind of roadblocks that they come across. And then the second option that we have is we have the coaching program plus an agency. So we have a full service agency. We've got a staff of 47 people where we do everything from web design, SEO, graphic design, video editing, and literally everything for you. Plus you work with me, plus you get access to those coaching programs and courses and everything. And so the type of person that we work with is typically they are a trainer. They've got an existing client roster, but now especially, people aren't comfortable coming to the gym, or they're just honestly tired. They've been, working in the industry for 5+ years. They've been doing sessions and they realize they're capped. Maybe they could take on 1 or 2 more clients, but they're kind of capped within their day, right? Because they're doing that time for money exchange that almost every personal trainer and fitness instructor does. And so the only way they can make more money is if they add more hours to the day, which they can't control. Yeah. So what they're wanting to do is finding a way to scale their time to where they're able to sell things that are not in exchange for time for money. Because that's honestly one of the, if done correctly, the beautiful things about online training. Whenever you're selling things online, people are not buying your time, they're buying a result.
Mhm.
So they don't care if they are, I always joke with people like, okay, which is more valuable? I have to be with you 5 hours a week to get a result, or I can get the same exact result with 15 minutes of your time. Like for me, I'm like, oh, I'm busy. Like I don't want to have to commit 5 hours of my week. Part of fitness, I'm going to make people mad with this. So I'm going to make sure I say this right. The best way to deliver the art of teaching a fitness exercise is in person. I will 100% agree with that right now, due to the technology. That's the best way. However, it is not the best way always to do fitness. Because like we said earlier, fitness is the service industry. So if we want to truly serve our clients, sometimes the best thing for them is not giving them the best, teaching them and instructing them in exercise, but the best fitness for them. So I worked with lots of busy moms and dad. They had to cancel sessions all the time because something came up with the kids, school events, all that, somebody's sick, all of that stuff. Because I didn't have the ability to pivot my schedule to serve them, their fitness now suffered. However, with an on-demand or online platform, now they can get fitness on their terms and on their time, and they are not dependent on my schedule. So if I truly want to serve people, I need to be able to meet them where they're at. So that's one of the beautiful things about leveraging online. Even if you don't want to go full-time online, as a personal trainer, you need to have some type of online or hybrid program or offering for those clients for when they do travel, if they do need to take some time away from the gym, especially right now, if somebody gets exposed and they have to be, quarantined for 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever that is, like you need to have something you can sell them. And so that's one of the things that whether you want to do online or not, you need to have some type of online platform or presence to give to your clients.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's really about the individual, and there's a big piece that I want our audience to really understand, that you're really diving in and dissecting the little details. Like, I'm not trying to offend you here, but it's not like you're doing anything amazingly special. It's just you're doing the basics better than other people, and to that,
doing the common uncommonly well.
Yes, beautifully spoken. And I think so many times, especially young coaches, can get sold into the track of, come with me, I'm going to show you how to make 6 figures in 6 months, that type of selling point. It's like that should be a red flag to you trainers out there trying to build a business, that person doesn't really know the intricacies of what it's going to take to get you to build the platform so you can have your online business and the freedom and the lifestyle that you want. And it really sounds like with your coaching business, it's like you're the Mayo Clinic of fitness business coaching. You're like everything from A to Z, soup to nuts, so hats off to you. And I want to make sure that our audience understands that you're the real deal. And if there's people out there struggling with their business, or struggling getting an online following, or struggling with just their schedule, maybe they're already burning out and they're starting to notice that fatigue, that reach out. This is someone who you want to be talking to and have in your corner.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And one thing that I'll say that on what you're saying there that applies to all segments of your audience, whether it's, the Gen Pop people here for awesome fitness content, or for the fitness professional looking to, expand their career in fitness. I'm going to let you in on a secret of what the secret to success is.
Oh, drum roll.
There is no secret.
I
Love it.
Everybody is looking for, like, as a trainer, as a Gen Pop person, you're always wanting, like, oh, what's the one supplement I'm missing to why I'm not losing weight?
Yeah.
What's the one exercise that I need to do so I can really get abs? Or as a trainer, like, oh, what's the next cert I need to take? Because, man, if I take this kettlebell cert, then my business is going to explode.
Yeah.
Like, they're always thinking that it's like one little thing that they're missing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, the one thing most likely that you're missing is being disciplined. Because if you consistently do the small things correctly over time, that will compound to get you the results you want. I almost guarantee you there's no exercise you're missing. There's no supplement you're not taking. It's the big things that you're not consistently doing over time. You're not probably consistently eating healthy every day. You're not making good choices. You're probably eating good Monday through Friday, but then the weekends you're, chugging the beers, eating the pizza, eating the nachos and stuff like that, then thinking some protein supplement's going to fix all that. No, it's not. You're a trainer and you think that your clients aren't getting results because you don't know the latest steel mace, steel club, animal flow, kettlebell technique. No, it's not that. It's probably you're not truly serving them and trying to find out what blockers they have in their life to get them results. If you're trying to grow your business, you're probably thinking, oh, I've just got to figure out paid ads, or I've got to figure out the right hashtags to use on social media. Then I'm going to get. No, it's probably because you're not demonstrating and adding value to people online. Like, it's probably a consistent thing that you're not doing in some area of your life. And that is the big secret that you're missing.
So do a lot of people come to you with that and they think you're going to give them the one secret to success?
Yes,
and you're just like, wait a second, I got to teach you.
Yeah. So because so many people that do what I do, especially like in this online fitness marketing world, they teach a tactic and not a strategy or system. So it's like, come to me and I'm going to show you how to do paid ads that go to DM conversations. And you're going to use this script to close them and get them on a sales call. Use this tactic here. And we're going to build a webinar funnel that's going to get people. And you're going to have people go to this webinar and they're going to do this or do this. And this is how you're going to create a lead generator that gets them through an email sequence that then converts them to it. Like, everybody has a tactic. And so people think that like, oh, I just haven't found the right tactic for me or the right marketing strategy. Like, no, you probably haven't been consistent with anything and you're jumping from thing to thing. Like, kind of the secrets, we know this with fitness, but guys, anything works if you're consistent with it long enough. Like P90X, like I heard a strength coach seminar one time. They were laughing about Richard Simmons, and somebody was like, well, he has actually impacted and changed more lives than anybody in this room ever will, because he made fitness fun and accessible. No, he wasn't CSCS, like anything like that. Like, he got people to move. He got people to be consistent. Like, that's why they got results. Like, it wasn't because he was sweating to the oldies. Like, it was just like being consistent with those things. That's the secret. People are always looking for a magic pill. Like, people come to you as a client, they always think like, well, I just heard I need to do more core training, and then I think that's what I need to focus on. Like, worked out in 2 years. It's not because you missed a core exercise. Like, you're just not consistently moving. Same thing with trainers. They think that like, hey, can you just show me what I need to be posting online to get more clients? Like,
doesn't work that way. Right. It's bigger than, it's deeper than that.
That's a part of it, but that's like your 300-pound client coming to you and saying, hey, what pre-workout do I need to be taking?
Yeah. Right. And you're like, let's prioritize things a little bit.
Brother, we got a lot bigger problems than what pre-workout you're supposed to be doing.
Well, just to your point, it's kind of like, F45, Orange Theory, CrossFit. It's not that any one of them is doing anything amazingly special and unique. It's just the fact that they're creating, like you said, kind of making fitness fun and accessible, having that community aspect. And then you get into the system that you're doing it consistently, you're going to see results with it.
Yeah. They've made fitness a fun experience. That's why they've been so successful, is because they've created an experience around fitness. People, being a firefighter, like, you suffer together during training and stuff, that kind of helps that bond and everything. So that's what makes it so successful for them.
It is amazing that kind of like the CrossFit stemmed a lot of these like community gym places. And that's what we're kind of seeing trend now.
Yeah. They weren't wrong. They did it right.
They were right.
Smart from several perspectives about the community creation, about ways to scale and leverage time for money to get more people in a class. Like, that's literally like Greg Glassman, the guy, the old CEO and founder of CrossFit. He's was training people with these crazy workouts one at a time, and then he was like, well, I can only make so much money. Let's see what happens if I bring 2 of them in. And they started pushing each other, and they liked it. And he's like, well, what if I bring 3 of them in, 4 of them in? And then he started finding out like, hey, these people actually like working together because it creates that competition and camaraderie. And he wasn't wrong. And so that just spurred all these other ones on. And they just take the same core concept of doing fitness together in community and creating an experience around it. Now everybody just has their own like flavor by how they do their exercise selection and modalities.
So I may be stealing a little more knowledge than I deserve to be getting from you here in this question. And I can probably answer it based upon some of your earlier answers. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer it after I ask it, and then I'll let you
tell you if you're right or not.
Yeah. Okay. So the question was, what areas you spend most of your time, say, on a call with a trainer or another entrepreneur, trying to mentor them? And it sounds like, just in talking to you right now today, your answer would be disciplined with their schedule. And correct me if I'm wrong.
I that is definitely a foundational thing, but I would say the 2 things that they struggle with most, and this is probably true with anybody, is the time management is a huge thing. Everybody's like, oh, I'm just so busy, I can't do that. Like, you're most likely not busy. You're most likely just disorganized, because we all have the same amount of time. Like the cheesy quote, like we all have 24 hours in a day. You know, the people that are running, you know, Fortune 500 companies, billionaires, they have 24 hours in a day, just like you. They're just really, really disciplined with it. And they say no to more things than they say yes to. But the two things that they struggle with most, the trainers, is helping them to identify a target client and communication. So the target client thing is, because fitness professionals, they're afraid of like the FOMO. They're afraid of missing out on opportunities. They want to try and market and appeal to everyone, and they wonder why their business isn't working. You need to be to have a specific person or problem that you're solving online if you want to stand out, because there's so many. The pro about being online is you have a wide variety of clients that you get to market to. Right. The con about online is you have a wide variety of competition that's marketing those same clients. So if you want to stand out, you have to be specific about known for something, and you have to be able to use the right words to attract the right people. If I said, man, I want you to check out my 12-week coaching program because we're going to get you super lean and toned for summer. Or I said, try my 12-week coaching program because we're going to get you jacked and shredded for summer.
I want the second one.
You want the second one because you're probably not trying to look good in a bikini. Like, the words that you use matter, and you don't know what words to use unless I didn't tell you at all what I was selling. I didn't tell you what the deliverables were or anything, but the words that I chose to speak would instantly speak to and attract to a certain person. So your words are what's important. Your copy is what it's called, is what attracts the person that you want to work with. That's important. You need to know what words to use to attract the people. So you got to identify your target market. The second one is honestly just basic communication. Most trainers suck at this, like especially online. Being able to communicate is huge. And a lot of it is like, okay, I just had a client say this. What should I do? You should be human and you should talk to them. Like they're trying to find out like the perfect DM response or something. Like, no, pick up the phone and have a conversation, because you're awkward. You don't know how to talk to people. And for me, I told you about reading and stuff. Game Changer book. And you guys can read this one if you haven't. Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. If you guys have not read that book, Game Changer book for communication. It's Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Incredible book. I make all my clients read this book. It's a negotiation book, but if you realize what good negotiation is just really good communication. Yeah. So Chris Voss was the former head of terrorism, FBI negotiator, and each chapter starts out with one of his hostage negotiation scenarios, and then he pulls out the business negotiation principles that he used in that, and shows you how to apply it to business, to relationships and everything. Awesome book. But I make all my clients read it because if you understand some of the key principles that he talks about, it's just really good listening. That's what negotiation is. It's being empathetic. It's being really, really good at listening, to hearing the other person's side of it, and then asking the right questions to get the conversation going your way. But that's the biggest thing, man. If you can talk to people well, and you're disciplined and organized, and you know who you're going after, man, you'll crush anything.
And you know how many people come to a trainer and have some insecurities that they are hiding or not truly admitting. So being able to kind of have a valuable relationship and an area that they can feel safe and feel like they can be themselves and tell you honestly, like they don't like something or they're not happy with something, that's going to go a long way. And I think a lot of young trainers just want to kind of like with this whole Instagram world and sort of faking it till you make it. They want everything to look perfect or seem perfect, but usually that's not a good thing. You want it to be gritty. You want there to be blood, sweat, and tears a little bit. So that's how you get to your success stories.
Yeah. People want and value real and authentic. They don't want the picture perfect. And to that same point, the longer you guys are in this industry, the trainers that are listened to, you'll realize that the sets and reps actually become a smaller part of your session, and it becomes more about communication. Like, trainers that have been in the game for a long time, like us, like they'll joke, like you're almost more of a psychiatrist than you are like a pro by the end of the day. Like people just come and just unload this stuff on you and like, whew, that's heavy. We're not squatting today. Let's talk about this. And it's again, because it's that servant-based heart. It's helping them deal with this. If they're coming to me to help them with their health and wellness. Well, right now their mental health is crazy. So I'm not going to load that client right now with a heavy bar on their back, or we're not going to max out on deadlift because they're not in a good state of mind right now. Most likely they're going to get hurt, and got to be there to talk them through that and adapt and, meet the client where they're at for that session.
Yeah. I mean, that's one area that Matt and I have kind of, with our online stuff of, is the communication with clients is huge. And it's not just having no communication, just giving this. Obviously you coach communication with them, but do you get a lot of people that don't understand that, especially being online? Like, communication is super key.
Yeah, that's one thing that we definitely, I would say it's been easier the past year than it was, the past couple of years, because now the coaches more than ever also want that connection and communication with people, because everybody's been secluded. Normally as a trainer, 2 years ago, you were grinding out session back to back to back to back. And then maybe you did an online thing on the side, or you're just going straight from, facility to facility, bouncing around as an independent trainer. So you were busy and in like close proximity to people, and you were talking all day. So like, I know I used to come home and I'm like, babe, don't talk to me. I've been talking to people all day. But now, because people haven't had that, they want that. So
Craving it.
I definitely agree. Like, before it used to be a bigger thing, but now we obviously still preach that to people, but they even want that. They're just not good at it because they haven't had to do it in this situation. Like,
well, I think the stereotypical trainer isn't necessarily the social butterfly either,
Yeah. They're like more straightforward, like X's and O's, stats and reps type of a thing. They're not the social butterfly. And that's honestly like the biggest thing that we have to work with is teaching, like, just like you said, like, CrossFit and stuff, that wasn't wrong. Like, they figured some stuff out. Like, there's a lot we can learn from these Instagram influencers. Like, they know how to build a community. They know how to attract people. They know how to build an audience. Now, once they get them, they're not necessarily giving them what I would call good fitness, but they learn a good key part, which is how to build a community and an audience. And so you have to kind of to mirror some of that stuff and find out what they're doing. And it's not posting the booty pics. So sorry, it's not that, but it's adding value, and it's creating that sense of online community. It's talking to them. Like, if you look at these guys, they're talking to they're in their phone all day, just like talking about what they're doing and sharing their stories and all that stuff. That's what it takes.
Over communicate with Sean Garner and develop your niche. That's really the one of the two most important things. And we're about running out of time here, and I want a little bit of time for some fun, get to know you a little bit more. I know you already said some quotes earlier, but I'm a huge quote guy, and I love quotes. I think they can translate a lot of knowledge like that. What is your favorite quote?
Yeah, I said it earlier. Knowledge without application is meaningless.
All right.
I say that that, and then my cheesy, or I say cheesy a lot, I guess. My redneck Oklahoma quote is, done is better than perfect.
I like it.
I see so many people, especially the fit pros, whenever they're thinking about trying to like release some online training program or product or something, they want it to be perfect before it gets out there. Done is better than perfect. You're going to learn from things. Like, you're not going to create the perfect product. I don't remember what his name is, but one of the original founders of LinkedIn said, if you are not embarrassed by the first iteration release of your product, you waited too long to release it, because you were spending way too much time trying to make it perfect instead of just getting out to the world, getting real life feedback. Until you do that, you're just guessing. And you're thinking you're making the right decision. But once you throw it out there, you're going to get real-time, real-world feedback from the real people you're trying to help and serve, and they'll tell you how to make it better. But done is better than perfect, and knowledge without application is meaningless.
And you know what? There is no perfect. For you young coaches out there and young business entrepreneurs out there, you will continuously improve your business. The moment you think it's perfect and you're done learning, you've lost.
Fact, yes.
And then what's your favorite thing to do in your leisure time? You're like, what day does that happen? Oh, yeah, Sunday?
No, so it does. Because I'm a big believer in, you got to have goals in 6 areas of your life. And one of I call them the F6 is what my mentor tells me. And one of the F's is fun. So you got to have fun. I'm a big family guy. I love spending time with my family. I love reading. I love being outside. Also Oklahoma guy. I'm a gun guy. So we like going out to the gun range, shooting some guns and having fun with that.
Nice. So are you reading like Jocko Willink's Way of a Warrior?
Oh, yeah. Love Jocko. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Extreme ownership. That's a game changer.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely got to be on everyone's reading list if they haven't read that. But I'm going to read that Never Split the Difference. I like that with the Chris Boss.
Good.
Because when you said that
audio.
Okay. I've heard him in a few interviews, and he talks about some of the positive psychology about when you put a smile on your face type of deal, you think like 5 times more positive thoughts and different little ways to kind of reflect and get the person you're interviewing or interrogating to kind of give you the information they want. But yeah.
Hopefully nobody listening to this is interrogating people, but yes.
That's not our audience. At least I don't think so.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Sean. Really appreciate you. Thank you for reaching out, and I'm really blessed to learn from you and have you on our episode here today. Do you want to say any shout outs?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks so much for the opportunity, guys. If any of this resonated with you, I would love to connect with anybody that's out there, especially the real fit pros. If you're looking to create, market, or scale your online fitness business, go to entrefitcoaching.com. It's fitcoaching.com, entrefitcoaching.com. And if you listen to me on this podcast, where do you guys like your podcast reviews from? Apple
iTunes, yeah.
So do this. If you're listening to this, if you're a fit pro, go leave these guys a review on Apple, screenshot it. And then if you go to our website, fill out a form for your free blueprint strategy call, I'll actually give you personally a 1-hour consulting session for you and your fitness business. But you got to give these guys a review and screenshot it so I can see it. And I love the opportunity to connect with you guys. It's entrefitcoaching.com, or always connect with me. I'm most active probably on Instagram. It's just at Sean Garner, SeanGarner.
And for those of you driving, don't worry. I'll include all that in the show notes for you guys later. And thanks for listening. Catch you later at the Think Fitness Life podcast. Peace.
If you're ready to make steps towards improving your health or increasing your performance, book a free 30-minute call today by visiting thinkfitnesslife.com.